Hello and welcome back to my channel, beautiful ladies. Welcome back. My name is Salandria for all of you who are new here. And on this channel, we are talking about all things manifestation, leveling up, and embodying your true feminine essence. Today, we are speaking specifically on manifestation, okay? And we're really talking about what is blocking you from receiving your manifestations. There are two, maybe even three reasons as to why you're not receiving your manifestations. And I'm going to dive into them today and explain them to you. First things first, that we need to understand. You need to understand your manifestation type. So you can do this in one of two ways. First of all, if you're into human design, if you know your birth information, so you need your time that you were born, your state, your city, and I think that's it. And with that information, you can pull up your human design chart. On your human design chart, there are these arrows. There are four different arrows. If you look at the arrow that is on the bottom right, depending on the direction that that arrow is pointing, will determine what is your manifestation type. So if your arrow is pointed towards the left, then you have a specific manifestation type. If your arrow is pointed towards the right, you have a non specific manifestation type. Meaning, if you're a specific manifestation type towards the left, that means that you need to know what you want. You need to be very detailed about what it is that you are looking to experience in your life. How much money do you want? What is the dollar amount? What type of man do you want? Write it out. What type of car do you want? What is the color? Like, you need to be very detailed and specific about what it is that you are desiring. So you're not the type of person who can just be like, I want a man. Because even if you do those general and specific, general non-specific manifestations, right? Like, I want more money, you're not going to be fully satisfied with the manifestation that you receive. And you'll know that this is you if you request something. Say you say, I want a man, right? And so you get this man, but then he's missing certain qualities. And you're like, damn, I asked for him, I got him, but I forgot to add in these couple of points. That happens to me all the time. I'll say, okay, here's a quick story. There was a time in my life where I wanted to stop working a regular 9 to 5 job. I wanted to own my own business, and I didn't know what I wanted the business to be, but I just knew that I wanted to be on the move, like in my car all the time, able to like stop at coffee shops and work, or like stop at the park in the middle of the day. And so that is what I would visualize all of the time. And lo and behold, I manifested becoming an Uber driver or a Lyft driver. But I didn't have any specifics. I just knew that I wanted to be driving around all day. On the move is what I would say. I wanted to be able to stop whenever I wanted and be able to stop at the park. And one day I was driving Lyft and I was over by Piedmont Park in Atlanta. And I was like, oh, I'm going to stop and go to the park. I had a little blanket in the back seat to have a picnic whenever I wanted. And I stopped, and that's when it had dawned on me, girl, you literally manifested this, but you did not say specifically what it is that you wanted to be doing. And therefore, I was a Lyft driver. I got exactly what I asked for and nothing that I didn't ask for. So for me, I'm a specific manifester. I have to say exactly what it is that I want. If I say exactly what I want, I will receive it. Now, if your arrow is towards the right and you're non-specific, you can just say, God, send me more abundance. God, send me the perfect man for me. God, like, you can just do general things, right? You manifest more in like a flow, okay? Um, and now a lot of people make this mistake because there are other people in the world who are non-specific manifestors. And so their life is kind of like happens by like happenstance, right? So these are people who just walked in a coffee shop one day. They weren't even looking for their husband, and then boom, there he was. Or they just stumbled across this YouTube channel and became a millionaire. Like, they had no idea where it came from. Those are non-specific manifestors where they're just looking for something good to happen, or they're looking for something in particular to happen, with no details as to how, and so they like happen into life. They stumble into life. Now, if you do not know your birth time or you're not interested in finding out what your human design is, I think that you can just tell based off of how you've been manifesting what is your type. So, do you manifest with ease when you are specific, or do you manifest with ease when you are vague? Or say that you are vague with your manifestations. When you receive them, are you often unsatisfied because you left a part of it out? Or when you're vague, do you get everything that you could have ever wanted plus some? So even if you don't have the human design information, from this information, you can kind of gauge where you're at within that. Okay. So you need to know whether or not you are a specific manifester or a non specific kind of general manifester. That will be helpful for you. Now, here are the two reasons that you are not manifesting, and then like a bonus little third one. The first one, you do not know what it is that you want. I know that it's very simple, but it's the truth. When it comes to manifesting, I truly do believe that ask and you shall receive. Ask and it is given, right? You have to ask. If you don't know what you're asking for, it's like you're like, God, I need you to do something in my life. God, I want you to do something. God, send me something better. And he's like, okay, well, what you want? And you're like, God, send me something better. Okay, what do you want? God, send me something better. Okay, what you want? It's like, you know how they say women never know what they want to eat. So when the man is like, what do you want to eat? I don't know. Okay, fine, let's go to Taco Bell. No, I don't want Taco Bell. Okay, well, what do you want? I don't know. Okay, fine, let's go to Burger King. No, I don't want to go to Burger King. Okay, what will you tell me what you want? It's kind of like that. You have to know what it is that you want, especially if you're a specific manifester. You have to know what it is that you want. So you need to know the dollar amount, you need to know the specifics of the man that you want to be with. What do you want it to feel like? Do you want to be married? Do you just want to date? Do you want to just have fun for the summer? Do you really want to open yourself up to commitment when it comes to relationships? Like what do you want? So you can't receive what you have not asked for yet. You have to know what you want and you have to ask for it. And that's a major thing for people, women in particular. We really struggle with knowing what it is that we truly, truly desire, what it is that we truly, truly want. Another aspect of you don't know what you want is you're inconsistent in what you want. So say you're like, okay, fine, I'll just pick something, right? So let's say you're like, you know what? I want $100,000 a year. God, please send me $100,000 per year. But then 3 days later, you forget that you asked for $100,000 and you're like, you know what? I think I can do $80,000 a year. God, please send me $80,000 for the year. Then you fall into a bind and you're like, oh, you know what? I can at least take 60. Like, give me at least 60. Then you're feeling good and you're like, oh, you know what? I want 300K a year. You're you're requesting the same thing, money, right? But you're sending in multiple different requests for the same thing. So now I don't know what to give you. You get what I'm saying? Like you have 5 applications in for the same thing. Which application is the application? Which one do you want? So if you're forgetting what it is that you are specifying, or if you're wishy-washy in what it is that you're specifying, that's also delaying your manifestation because you need to know what you want and you need to stick with what you want and you need to be consistent with that thing. Another form of this is not being sure of what you want. So one moment you're like, yeah, I want to make $100,000 per year. And then the next moment you're like, I don't even really care about money. You're sending mixed signals. We don't know what you're talking about. We're confused and we're waiting for you to make up your mind so that we can send you something. But you do have to make up your mind in order for me to send you something. This is like how if I were God, you know what I'm saying? I'm just making it in regular terms. You need to make up your mind in order for someone to give you something. So, or you're like, you know what? I really want to be married and have kids and live in a nice house. And then 2 months later, you're like, you know what? I really don't even think I want a relationship. Like, I could just stay by myself and travel the world and like live out of my van. You know what I'm saying? So, you're not consistently wanting the same thing. You're often changing your mind. You want it, then you don't want it. You're hot and you're cold. You're not fully steeped in the desire. You either don't know the desire, you're not fully steeped in the desire, you're requesting things just out of lack. And then once you're not in lack anymore, you forget that you requested that thing out of lack. And you know what I'm saying? You're not a consistent manifester within knowing what you want. So that is one of the first reasons that you are not receiving your manifestations. So in order to resolve that, figure out what you want. In order to figure out what you want, a big part of not knowing what you want is because you probably don't know who you are. You're probably still trying to figure out who you are, especially if you're inconsistent with the manifestations. You're probably still trying to figure out, like, torn between like two or three versions of yourself. Like, I could be, the doting wife, or I could live this adventurous big life, or I could be the boss chick. You haven't fully figured out who you want to be in the world, or not even who you want to be, but who you actually are, in order to know what it is that you want. And that's why you may be fluctuating through so many different desires. So for you, the first thing that you would have to do is really sit down and figure out, who am I? Like, you really need to know that information. So the second part of this, the second reason that you are not receiving your manifestations is due to limiting beliefs. So, say you know exactly what it is that you want, you've been requesting it, you're consistent, you're not changing your mind, you know what you want your 100K per year with a bonus, and you're sticking to that, but you're not receiving the 100K per year with the bonus. That is because you have an issue with receiving on some level: mental, emotional, both, generational, all three. You don't believe that you can have that thing. There is no space for it to come into your world. So that is like, you're requesting something, it's being sent back to you, but the mailbox is full, or the mailbox is locked, and so we can't get in. You're requesting things, but the door is locked. What you're requesting cannot actually enter into the room. It's like you order an Amazon package, but you didn't give them the gate code. You know what I'm saying? They need to be able to get into the building in order to give you whatever it is that you desire. They can't get in because you have some sort of belief that tells you that you can't have it, it can't happen for you, or you first have to climb the corporate ladder for 16 years before you can make that type of money. Like, you have some sort of belief, emotion, generational belief that is blocking you from being able to receive what it is that you are requesting right now. So that's where the mindset work, self concept work comes in order for you to release whatever is there towards the thing that you want. So say you want $100,000, but truthfully in your body, you feel like, wow, that's a lot of money. I don't know if I can handle that type of money. Truthfully in your body, you're scared of $100,000, right? So when the opportunity comes, even oscillates, within your aura, there's no space for it to actually enter because fear occupies that space. So until you release the fear, that 100K can't come in, because there's no space. There's nothing in your energy field that's actually inviting it in. There's no space that's inviting it in, because within the space that you already have, you're either afraid of it, you don't believe that you can have it. You're already emitting something that's blocking it from entering. So you have to release whatever that thing is that's blocking it, so that it can finally fill in that space. So the bonus third one for this is, sometimes there is a hybrid, there is a mixture version, right? So sometimes you may not know what it is that you want because you already have a limiting belief, right? So you have a limiting belief, and this deals way more with like self-concept, insecurity, lack of confidence, all of those things first. So on a deeper level, you know what it is that you want. However, right now you don't believe that you are capable of having really anything. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have relationship, you don't have money, you don't have the car, you don't have the jewels or whatever else the thing is that you want, because you think so lowly of yourself. And so it's not until you begin to do some self concept work, get your confidence up, get your get your inner security up, you start to love on yourself some more, then you can kind of begin to see who you are. Of course, who am I is still embedded in this. You begin to see yourself differently. You see who you are differently. Then you're able to tap into your desire because you're not dealing with yourself from such a low level. You've increased the value or the worthiness of yourself within yourself.